promotion. OVO Energy, proud sponsors of the Women's Tour.
The OVO Energy Women's Tour 2019. The race is now in its 6th year and for the first time ever will take place across 6 stages, all starting today here in Beccles. Well, over the coming days, this edition of the race will take in some of the toughest parkour the UK has to offer, and it all finishes up next Saturday in Pembury Country Park, where we'll see the 2019 winner crowned. Me now. That was such a special moment on that podium. What's your overriding memory and emotion, I guess, from that win last year?
Yeah, it's quite a special moment and it doesn't happen for everyone, so we worked really hard for it, and yeah, to spray champagne on the podium and to win the overall GC and to win stage 2 was a huge accomplishment for myself and the team, and we're really proud of that.
And I guess we knew you'd come in targeting those bunch gallops, those stage victories, but when did you and the team think, right, this is it, all in for that GC?
I think once we got the stage win and I got into the leader's jersey, I think that's when it really became reality. You know, when you have the jersey on your shoulders, it kind of changes things and you have to take a little bit more control in the race. And yeah, we were really strong, so in a sense it was almost kind of easy to control when everyone is strong and we're able to do our job. And yeah, we were put under pressure a few times, but you know, we stayed cool and we knew how to work with the situation. And yeah, in the end, it worked out. Yeah, we won, and so we were really happy with this. And yeah, I think after the win in stage 2 and we had the jersey, that was really the moment when we started to believe.
And you got a lot of tongues wagging, a lot of sort of press conference questions saying, "Hang on, you're a sprinter, but you're going for that GC." Did you expect that sort of speculation?
Yeah, even myself included. I'm normally a one-day racer and I really enjoy one-day racing. But yeah, the courses here and the racing here really suits my strengths very well, and also the team as well. And yeah, we just took advantage of the opportunity, and they don't come often. So yeah, when it works in your favor, you have to grab it by both hands.
Well, talking of sprint opportunities, before we go any further, let's take a look at the 2019 route and what's in store. The 2019 OVO Energy Women's Tour kicks off in Suffolk before heading down to Kent for the Cyclopark stage. Oxfordshire hosts day 3, and then there's a hilltop finish in Warwickshire for stage 4 before Wales provides the sting in the tail with 2 of the toughest stages in Tour history. Well, there's a glimpse at what is to come over the next 6 stages. Corinne, what do you make of this year's course? More elevation and an extra day?
Yeah, definitely more elevation, an extra day, some longer stages, so it's definitely going to be difficult, and also with some weather as well. So yeah, expect the unexpected here at this race is normally words to live by here. So yeah, it's going to be hard and it's going to be crazy.
And how much tougher, if the rain does come down, will it be on the road?
Yeah, it adds a whole other element to the race. It gets colder, you need to change clothes more, yeah, more, you know, chances of crashing, mishaps, so it's a lot more adversity, but yeah, then it becomes a battle in your head also.
And let's look at stage 2, because you've come from the US, of course, a lot of crit racing background. Does it suit you, stage 2?
Yeah, it's not necessarily just like an American criterium, but it has similar characteristics. It's shorter, it's a lot of explosivity and deceleration, so a lot of changes in speed, but I think it's anyways going to be hard, so it's just a shorter amount of time to go hard versus, say, like today, a 160K race where it just slowly wears on you. So it's a different kind of pain, but I think it'll anyways be painful, and hopefully it suits to my strengths.
Well, of course, you're here as defending champion, but each and every previous GC winner is lining up as well. How competitive are your rivals this year?
Yeah, the rivals are strong this year. I think you can see from the whole year at the World Tour level, it's really tight and it's really strong, and it makes for really great racing. So yeah, it'll come down to who wants it more and who has the strongest team to support it. So yeah, it'll make for some great racing, absolutely. And yeah, we're all here to do the same thing. So it's just a matter of who ticks it off.
Well, talking of rivals, let's hear from some of them now.
It's always a quality field, a top field with all the top riders, and with the British spectators, it's always such a great honor to race, actually, to make it a tough battle. Of course, we have the winners of the past years, and they're favorites again. You have the more sprinter types that can win this race, maybe with time bonuses, but also the climbers can win if they can make enough difference in the last stages.
Track has a very strong team with Lizzie and Salongo Borghini, but also CCC with Marianne Vos and Ashimuna Pashas, and same Sunweb with previous winner Corinne Rivera. So there are plenty of different riders who actually can win this race.
Our plan is always to be aggressive. Yeah, I think we're very open-minded about which rider on the team we ride for. You know, it'll depend on how the races go. So open-minded but aggressive. It's relentless, the terrain, and the stages come quickly. They're long stages as well, so on Saturday I think there'll be a very tired peloton.
The first 3 stages, I would say, they are more or less flat and like for pure sprinters, where then we're gonna hit pretty hilly course, and of course it's gonna be extremely brutal.
You can't say it's the hilly stages that will only make a difference. It will be hard from the first day, and it can happen every moment in the race, so you have to be sharp and focused, and with an extra day it's going to be more tough.
The British people are fantastic fans, fantastic enthusiastic sports fans, so it's good.
Well, Lizzie Deignan there saying just how important it is to have a race of this scale in the UK. And for you out on the road, do you feel the vibe of those crowds? How is it out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the energy and I love the crowds, and you know, I feed off that kind of atmosphere, and yeah, it also reminds me of kind of some American criterium racing at home. So the louder the better, the crazier the better, and yeah, I'm really happy that I'm able to race here and be able to be a part of that again.
And how are you feeling ahead of today's longer stage and getting out on the road again this year?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm excited to kick it off here and see how the racing goes this week.
Well, good luck, of course, out there today. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And let's take a closer look at what is in store for Stage 1. At 157.5 kilometres, Stage 1 is the second longest day of the race. Setting off from Beccles, the route winds its way through the Suffolk countryside before 2 iceberg sprints at RAF Honington and Farnham St Martin. The first classified climb follows soon after. Sprint 3 is on the first passage through Stowmarket before the peloton loops back for another climb and the run into the finish. Beccles is a charming market town located beside the River Waveney at the southern point of the Suffolk and Norfolk Broads. Set amongst rolling countryside, the town boasts a wide variety of shops, cafes and restaurants. Stowmarket is located at the geographical heart of rural Suffolk on the River Gipping. Originally an agricultural market town, its medieval centre lies around the Church of St Peter and St Mary and features many buildings of architectural and historic interest. Well, that's enough from me. Time now for a quick break, but don't go anywhere because we'll be back in just a few moments with all the action from the opening stage here at the OVO Energy Women's Tour.
Power through motion. OVO Energy. Proud sponsors of the Women's Tour.
Away we go. Riders are on the start line, 157.6 kilometres awaits them, heading out of Beccles towards Stowmarket. Stage 1 of the OVO Energy Women's Tour is underway. 6 stages in total this year, 790 kilometres. As we get underway, Joe, you've got to think another day's racing. The OVO Energy Women's Tour just gets bigger and bigger every year.
It does. This is a really ambitious race, and each year they do try and have longer stages, and now 6 stages, which is absolutely brilliant. I know a lot of the women absolutely love racing this event. You know, we have the TV coverage, there's equal prize money, which unfortunately is still rare in women's cycling, but it's something that OVO, the sponsor, have invested in. So to have an extra stage this year is absolutely brilliant, and I think everyone's quite excited. We've got a very tough course this year, so in the previous years, some people have said it's not quite broken up the peloton as much as you might expect. I think everyone's been surprised at the standard of women's racing, but this year some really big climbs coming later on in the race.
Yeah, and for the first time, hilltop finish, which the field that we've got here, we'll run you through all the riders in a moment, but when we start to get those hilltop finishes, it just starts to mix up the general classification, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So it keeps it really interesting. Teams have got a lot of different options. So we've got some flatter stages. We'll have some sprinters that are keen to get a stage win early on, but then we'll have, you know, the big GC girls who are prepared for those bigger climbs later. So it gives all the teams a number of cars to play because we've got a variety of stages this year.
So here's some teams on the front. That's Drops, your British team, the white jersey with the multicoloured stripes. Lisa Brenau here in the blue and red of WNT, a former winner. Trek Segafredo, watch out for that team. Of course, Trek Segafredo lining up here with Lizzie Dykman, making a return to racing.
Absolutely. So she had more than a season out of racing, having given birth to her first child, Orla, back in September last year. So less than a year ago she gave birth. And it's really interesting to see a female athlete coming back after pregnancy. It's not something that's happened a lot. Here she is, just taken off her gilet. Jessica Ennis-Hill in athletics obviously did it and came back for the Rio Olympics. Dame Sarah Story in cycling, and more recently Laura Kenny as well. So it's something that used to be quite rare in the past, but is now becoming more and more common. But in terms of road racing, there are many mothers in the peloton, so Lizzie definitely leading the way there.
Our spectator on the side here, just making a little film as we go by. There's always one, isn't there? Do you see the riders just rolling out on the start here? His team Sunweb, of course, they've got Corinne Rivera, last year's winner. Corinne comes into this year's race. She hasn't had a victory yet this season. We're rolling out on the neutralised section. We're heading towards kilometre 0, so racing about to get underway. Team Sunweb last year, they really dominated this race.
Yeah, they were really dominant last year. Some incredible teamwork on display, and I think a lot of people were surprised that a team was able to control the race in the way that they did. So for Corinne Rivera to win overall was spectacular, because there were some tough climbs last year, but we didn't have a mountaintop finish like we do this year. But, you know, she's shown that she is more than just a sprinter. She really is a very powerful all-rounder, and with a strong team around her, definitely one that you can't discount.
Let's just pick out some other team colours. Ale Cipollini right in the centre. Watch out for Chloe Hosking today. Leah Kirschman just dropping back. A lot of riders getting rid of their rain jackets. You can see some spots of rain on the camera lenses. The pink and blue, that's Valcar Pro Cycling. Watch out for Alice Ozufi. You can see the rain really falling now, and no breakaways managing to get established as of yet. Alice Barnes at the back here, one of the Barnes sisters. She's got a rear wheel puncture.
Yeah, this isn't a good time for this to happen. We've got some bad weather here. She'll be chasing on her own, but at the moment the peloton don't seem to be strung out. They're still riding at quite a steady pace, so she should be able to get herself back on so before the racing's really underway. But it's still not ideal on day 1 of the race. If you perhaps want to be saving your legs a little bit for later on in the stage race, she has got a bit of a hard chase now here.
Sunweb in those red and white colours on the right of your picture. The CCC, the orange colours. Marianne Vos comes into this race. Vos, a legend of our sport, coming in towards the first iceberg sprint of the race. 1 kilometre to go, and we have 3 of these sprints today. 3 2 and 1 points, 3 2 and 1 seconds. The first sprint here in RAF Honington. The seconds are what really counts in these sprints as well. You've got that red iceberg sprints jersey, but these bonus seconds is how Corinne Rivera won this race last year.
This has been absolutely key to this race in previous editions, and we've seen, I think, pretty much all of the intermediate sprints hotly contested. So here you can see at least 3 lead-out trains getting ready to lead out their sprinters for this sprint.
So Team Sunweb all lined out in front of Corin Rivera on the right. You've got the Canyon SRAM riders in the centre. Here comes CCC in the orange. Lake Cipollini in those fluorescent yellow. We just see the figure of Corin Rivera. You can just see her there in the American National Champions colours. Watch out for her come the sprint. So Rivera, stage win and the general classification last year. So WNT just moving up on the outside, now opening up for the sprint. Rivera got their teammates in front of her. Everyone's trying to battle to get up there. We can see Mariana Vos, but Rivera now comes off the wheel of the teammates. They're alongside her and up towards the line, and Rivera throws the bike at the line, just manages to take that first sprint, and it's the Movistar rider that's with her. There's confirmation of your sprint result. Rivera takes it from Shayla Gutierrez, and Suzanne Anderson hanging on for 3rd place. So good to see Mariana Vos getting up there, but Rivera looking good already.
That was very tight on the line there, but again, what a brilliant display of teamwork by Team Sunweb there for Corin Rivera, taking her brilliantly to the line there.
So up towards the front now, and, the drops colours, Abby May Parkinson right on the front. First sprint down, second one coming up. Stage 1 of the OVO Energy Women's Tour, 157.6 kilometres from Beccles to Stowmarket, one finishing loop of 12 kilometres, over 3 hours of racing covered, and still no breakaway established. First sprint down, second sprint in Fornham St Martin ahead of us with 46.3 kilometres remaining. The wind direction, Joe, very, very fast from the start, and just nothing stuck.
Yeah, that lends itself to fast racing, so they'll get through the stage quite quickly. These sprints have been absolutely crucial in previous editions, and once again we've got the lead-out train starting. We've got WNT, we've got Canyon SRAM, we've got Sunweb, all up there.
Indeed, heading in towards the sprint now. Catherine Hammes has got Lisa Brennauer up towards the front. You can see the back of this race. A real tough day with the rain falling. Again, Team Sunweb now. Floortia Mackay comes through towards the front for Corin Rivera. And Team Sunweb this year without Ellen Van Dyke. She's moved across to Trek Segafredo. 1 kilometre now in towards the next iceberg sprint. Corin Rivera took the first one from Gutierrez. There you can see her in that Stars and Stripes jersey. Lisa Brennauer in that red and blue WNT jersey, just moving up towards the front. Brennauer, former general classification winner. She's had a great season so far.
Yeah, traditionally a very strong time trialist, but really becoming a really strong all-rounder. She can win on all sorts of terrain and very fast as well.
Vos just moving up here on the left, just behind her teammate in the orange. Gutierrez as well for Movistar. She's got the black jersey on, but the light blue bike. Now it's over to CCC to try and lead this one out for Mariana Vos. Again, another former winner. Leading it out now. Here they go. Team Sunweb. Rivera second in line. Vos battling to try and stay with them. Great lead out here for Corin Rivera. She just got to try and come off the wheel. Rivera. Vos is on the outside, but Rivera comes through. Great sprint there into Fornham St Martin, and it looked like her teammates took second and third on that one. And there's confirmation they did indeed. Suzanne Anderson and Leah Kirkman take a second and third. Advantage Team Sunweb.
Wow, very dominant riding there from Team Sunweb, and of course for Corin Rivera, if her teammates can get in there and get the other bonus seconds, that stops anyone else picking them up. So clearly a very strong team tactic there for Team Sunweb, which they would have decided beforehand coming to this race.
Now we move on towards the Skoda Queen of the Mountains point. That will be the next target for the riders. 32.8 kilometres to go in Little Wellnatham. We'll then have the final iceberg sprint of the day with 12 kilometres to go on the line. You can just see the riders all coming together as they narrow down on that left turn, and then a final Queen of the Mountains point with 6.2 kilometres to go in Buxall. Two jerseys, the Skoda Queen of the Mountains and the Iceberg Sprints, are always really, really fought over, aren't they?
Absolutely, very hotly contested, you know, big bragging rights for the team, and especially on day one when everyone's starting with no points. Everyone's got the chance to take a jersey today, so they want to get up there, get their jersey up on the podium as soon as they can. But we can see coming into this climb here, a team on the front stringing it out, but if you're at the back, really, really hard work when you've got these narrow roads and these tight corners and these conditions in the wet as well. These girls at the back are actually working really hard here just to stay with this pace.
They are indeed. Erica Magnaldi right on the back there, phenomenal climber. You can just see the surface water, and it's Team Virtu that are on the front. They come into this race. Marta Bastianelli, who's been one of the riders of the season, was on an early start list, but coming into the race, they've got Rachel Neelan, the Australian, who they could be looking for the general classification. Barbara Gorishki, as well as a great sprinter, the Italian. So we'll see what they're working hard for on this one. Bigler coming up towards the front as well. Lizzie Banks, the British rider. Lizzie, she again comes in great form into this, up there in the Elsie Jacobs stage race in Luxembourg. Starting to get a little bit of freedom now, the Brit.
Absolutely. So she rode so strongly at the Tour de Yorkshire earlier this year in May, which was her first real chance to sort of work for herself, and she was so aggressive throughout that race, not quite getting the overall result she might have wanted, but a really, really good show of form. So if she's got some freedom this week, I'd love to see how she can perform over the course of a 6-day stage race, and she's a rider that we could even be talking about ahead of the Tokyo Olympics next year.
Indeed. See some riders just starting to get splintered off the back here. It's a tough day, especially when Team Virtu start to put the hammer down. The stage races so far this year, when you look at the form coming in, they're a good sort of way of gauging how these riders are. Lisa Klein took the Healthy Aging Tour early in the season. Tour Yorkshire, Marianne Vos, Elsie Jacobs, Lisa Brenau stole that from Demi Vollering of Park Hotel Valkenburg on the final stage. The Imakamine Bera with Elisa Longo-Borghini touring, and Katrin Hammers from WNT. We've seen her working on the front. She took a real shock victory in touring, and to coming into this, who's your money on? I know we're kind of throwing each other under the bus on the first day here. Who would you want coming into this one as we get towards the Queen of the Mountains for the overall in 6 days' time?
I'm really interested in Trek Segafredo, Alyssa Longo-Borghini having a very recent stage race win at Bera, so I think I'm excited for that team. Ellen van Dijk, you know, a supreme domestique, so anyone with her on their team normally does well.
Indeed, to speak of the devil, right at the front, Ellen van Dijk coming through. Floortia Mackay, very evident towards the front, as are the whole of Team Sunweb. So the Skoda Queen of the Mountains, so it's a Category 3 climb, so just 4 riders to score over the top. 4, 3, 2 and 1 points on this one at Little Wellnotham, so nothing too much to worry about for the riders. And at the moment, again, no breakaways managing to get established throughout this one. They wanted to come down to a bunch sprint. Team Virtu still working hard on the front. It's again, to see a few riders just spinning little gears on the back of the group here. That looks like some of those riders that were starting to get splintered off the back have made it back in, but Virtu, some real strength in numbers now at the front. You just see Mitchelton Scott coming up in the yellow and black. They again, of course, have got Sarah Roy, their sprinter, who we could be looking at the end of this one.
We could. So with this third category climb, you'll see quite a big bunch coming into it, and quite a strong sprint for the line, with everyone wanting to get the points to potentially take the jersey today. But this could also be a launch pad for an attack, so we haven't seen any big attacks go yet, but as we get into the closing stages of this race, as we've got these climbs and these sprints coming up, legs will starting to be getting tired, and when you've got that opportunity, that little lull, perhaps that could be a chance to go for somebody.
Motorbike just throwing up some water at the riders there. We saw Hannah Barnes towards the back of the group as well. A lot of riders wearing the big thick rain jackets today all day long in the rain. It looks like it's gone off now, but Virtu just in the centre now. Team WNT in the red and blue colours just on the right there. It looks like Lizzie Banks are just now coming through towards the front.
Yeah, still very bunched together here, everyone. Oh, and now we've got a crash.
Indeed, so hopefully everyone's okay after that one. Here comes Christine Majerus on the right there. Majerus just moves up. Just a little coming together at the back, but Majerus just crosses the summit of that one. Takes some maximum points over the top of that. There's a few riders just a little bit further down the back here, and that's Anna Trevisi. There's confirmation of your results. It's Majerus, Roberta Zolo, Banks and Ensing.
That was really nicely done there by Majerus of Bowles Dolmans. We didn't see her doing any work on the front. We didn't even see her team working on the front, but she used the other wheels, used the hard work of Virtue cycling, and then took maximum points there.
Mackay swings off, has a little look around. Now we've got a bit of a move here. This looks like Abby May Parkinson from Team Drops going through 25 kilometers to go. The colours of Park Hotel Valkenburg getting in there. But now we're starting to see the start of a few breakaways. Nothing has managed to get established so far today. A long opening stage in this one. We've got to think back, it's not too long ago, again, just starting to edge out a little gap. Kasia Nuva-Doma, when she took her overall victory in 2017, she jumped clear on the first day when everyone was looking for a bunch sprint. She just managed to grow that gap and pretty much stole the race on the opening day.
Absolutely, so you can easily get lured into a false sense of security thinking the stage is definitely going to be a sprint, and especially we've not seen too much action early on, but then if a rider can escape, like we've seen Abby May escaping here, if there is that lull in the pack, if a team isn't organised, this could be a brilliant move and a brilliant win for her today.
It indeed, the young Brit, just 21 years old. In towards the next sprint of the day, Abby May Parkinson solo here on the first day on the OVO Energy Women's Tour. This would be a great 3 seconds time bonus for her coming through here. So into Stowmarket and going through 12 kilometers to go. And Joe, for Abby May, the riders behind, we're going to get the first glimpse of the finish line here.
Yeah, this is really important. So often in a road race, you don't get to see the finish before the actual finish. So it's a real luxury to have a finishing circuit here today. So everyone's getting a chance to go over the finish line, think about the lines and the corners, think about what's the wind direction, think about what gear you might want to use in a sprint. But for Abby May being away on her own here, what a brilliant opportunity to lap up the noise from the crowd, and hopefully that will really spur her on for this last 12 kilometres where she's away.
300 metres now up towards the line. Abby May Parkinson solo at the front for Team Drops. Behind, again, you see those red and white colours of Team Sunweb. The teammates of Corin Rivera trying to bring her through towards the front. See the signs, the Iceberg Sprints jersey so far today. Corin Rivera has swept up maximum points and maximum bonus seconds through the line. But Abby May Parkinson now going solo. With 12 kilometers to go, she takes maximum points through the Iceberg Sprint, but for her, it's all about eyeing up this stage victory.
She's got a good gap here, but the pack are chasing now, so everyone's going to get a look at this finish. Everyone's going to know the run-in now, but for her, she needs to just focus on herself, keep herself in her own rhythm, not look back. She'll have her DS and the radio in her ear, giving her instructions, but she needs to just keep focused and keep a good rhythm.
Lizzie Banks getting through towards the front here for Team Bigler, spinning that gear nicely. Such a unique style Lizzie Banks has on the bike, easy to pick her out. But Abby May, she's heading towards the final 10 kilometers. It's usually that cutoff point. She's still got a gap of over a minute behind her though. Here we go, Team Sunweb, Lisa Kirkman on the front. Gutierrez up there again for Movistar. We're looking for that Stars and Stripes jersey though of Corin Rivera.
Yeah, I can't see her at the moment here, but I did see Lizzie Banks up there, so perhaps this isn't one that Corin Rivera is going to go for. I was always taught as a young rider to always go for a sprint on the finish line if you can, because it gives you a chance to sort of work up what gear you want to be in and what way the wind's coming from. Perhaps she's choosing on this occasion to save her legs and wait for a big one at the end.
Here we go, the lead out behind for this one. The motorbike now, Marianne Vos now lines up for the final second place there. She takes that again. Gutierrez of Movistar is there. And, looking good. So that's all of the sprints down. 1 lap to go still. Our solo leader, Abby May Parkinson.
Power through motion. OVO Energy. Proud sponsors of the Women's Tour. Power through motion. OVO Energy. Proud sponsors of the Women's Tour.
Inside the final 10 kilometers of stage 1 of the OVO Energy Women's Tour, your solo race leader, Abby May Parkinson of Drops Cycling going clear, just over 20 kilometers from the finish. And Joe, at this point, 1 minute and 14 seconds, this peloton behind it have got a serious amount of work to do to pull back Abby May.
They have. She's got a brilliant move here. She went at a brilliant time, got herself away, picked up some points and some bonus seconds as she went over the line, and now she's able to ride on her own, take the best lines on all the corners, have her gels whenever she wants. She's got no stress of being in a hectic bunch, whereas everyone back in the peloton has to get themselves organised if they wanted to come down to a bunch sprint for their team leader today.
We just see her just trying to get that last little bit of energy into the system. It's been a long, cold day out in the saddle for the riders. Abby May, when you look, she's only 21. She's one of those riders that seems to have been around forever. She was a really, really successful rider as a youth and a junior. And sometimes we forget that in pro women's cycling, we don't have an under 23 category. So riders like Abby May, we see them for sort of 3 or 4 years before now they start to sort of find their sort of maturity as an athlete.
Exactly, it's a big jump. So, you know, you can race as a youth and a junior, you can race at junior world championships. We even have now other international junior women's races, which are excellent, but it is a huge jump from junior to senior. And without the under 23 category, there isn't really that stepping stone that you get in men's cycling. However, on the other hand, you have riders such as Marianne Vos, Amelie Dirksen, who have won the senior world championships at age sort of 19 or 20, which is obviously phenomenal. But you're always going to get odd riders who are, you know, supremely talented that can do that. But for the majority of people, it is a huge jump, and often you are going to have a couple of seasons sort of really finding your feet. So it takes a team to have faith in those sort of riders that they know are talented, that they know can develop, but to allow them space to develop, space to sort of find their feet in the peloton, adjust the longer distances, adjust the sort of travel that you have as well as an elite athlete, as a cyclist. And eventually that will bear fruit.
Will, and Drop Cycling, that is really their remit as a team, develop young riders. That peloton behind, Team Sunweb for Corin Rivera. Bull Dolmans, we're starting to see them come through to the front. Yolien Dura, who's now moved across to that team. They got the team with the orange helmet. She was a winner of the stage last year ahead of Marta Bastianelli. Corin Rivera in third. Abby May locking it up through that corner. That's the point. We've got one Category 3 Queen of the Mountains point still to go. Yolien Dura, again, another rider we haven't really talked about so far. She's a bit coming back from an early season injury.
Yeah, so she had a crash at the Drenthe race back in March and broke her collarbone, which unfortunately is a fairly common injury in cycling, but you can get surgery pretty quickly. You can get back training on the turbo trainer and not lose too much fitness, but you lose the time of actually riding your bike and time in the peloton, and everyone else is, you know, becoming race fit, you know, racing all these big bike races, and you can't quite replicate that without actually racing. So yeah, it's been not a great start to the season for her after the move to Bowles Dolmans, but I'm sure we'll see her back in action.
Saw the blackboard there, just showing 85 seconds. Christine Majerus on the front here. Majerus was the winner of the climb at Little Wellnatham. She took 4 points there. Abby May is going to take the maximum points over the top of this climb. And again, they've got just a couple of riders behind it. When you look behind at the peloton here, Joe, it's one against maybe 3 riders from different teams on the front.
Yeah, so different teams won't want to commit their whole team to the chase at this point. So it's can be a bit of a game of cat and mouse, where you're thinking, can my leader realistically win this sprint? Are we really going to commit 5 girls to the chase, or is there someone else with a quicker sprint? You know, do we really want to commit everybody? So yeah, it's a bit of a guessing game.
And you're starting to see the cars get pulled out. Now that's the telling one, the Vittoria neutral service car. That shows that the gap now is getting down towards 30 seconds. Chantal Black is on the front. Abby May just starting to do those little telltale signs now, looking back when you've got the firepower of Majerus and Chantal Black on the front. They're just starting to take chunks out of this gap now as she just crests the summit here of Buxall. 6.2 kilometers to go. What's your gut feeling? Do you think she can hang on here?
I'd love her to do it. She's got the support from the crowd. You know, she needs to just believe in herself and get her head down, keep aero on the drops there, not look back. You know, we've obviously got some supremely strong teams in this peloton, and in a numbers game you'd say the peloton should win, but you know, if you can really believe in yourself, not waste energy looking back, just focus on your own performance, and it's not far. I really think she could do it.
Majerus sprinting it out with Bertizzolo. So Majerus, as we said, she took the first climb of the day. That will give her 7 points in the Queen of the Mountains classification. There's confirmation of the results. Abby May Parkinson, Christine Majerus there, with Ensing sweeping up that 4th place over the summit. Abby May comes from, again, another famous cycling legacy. Her mum, Lisa, top pro rider, took a silver medal in the Commonwealth Games back in 1990, I think it was. So she's the next generation coming through. From the aerial shot here, the pressure really on now at the front of the peloton, and it's Christine Majerus that's doing the damage.
Majerus looking very strong, already took points in the previous Queen of the Mountains as well. She's such a good all-round rider, so versatile, really good on technical finishes as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how she gets on throughout this race this week. Of course, a previous stage winner a couple of years ago as well.
Worth pointing out as well, drops the team. 5 kilometers to go. Abby May is still holding a good gap here. Drops the British team. They call themselves the team that refused to die. They lost some sponsors at the back end of last year. They managed to crowdfund and raise some sponsorship at the last minute to keep themselves going. And this is the sort of performance that pays back all that faith.
Absolutely, they're a team that have really invested in the younger riders, like I was saying, the sort of people that, you know, it is a big jump from junior to senior, and if you've got a team that will support you and invest in that, you're not going to always get the results straight away, but over time that will come together. So I think, you know, it's a testament to Jops and their team that they've had faith in all these younger girls. I think they're all under the age of 25, but all developing really well, and this is obviously a huge experience for all of them.
And that aerial shot showing the bump and the barging in the peloton behind, great to see, as you always get here on the OVO Energy Women's Tour. So many kids out along the side of the road. They'll have all their art projects last week will be based around the race. Much better than double maths, isn't it?
Absolutely. So I think it is so great when you see all the school kids come out, and I think it's good for, you know, the boys and girls to see that, you know, bike racing can be for anybody. And, you know, in the past we've seen mainly men's racing on TV. Obviously the Tour de France, you're only seeing the men racing, but for all these school kids now, they can see that it is for everybody.
So that aerial shot, those bright yellow jerseys of Alei Cipollini. Watch out for Chloe Hosking in this sprint. Team WNT, they haven't got Kirsten Wild in this race. It's quite interesting coming into this one. Kirsten Wild taking lots of stage wins in the Tour de Bretagne last week. They've got a strong team here. Back to the front though, Abby May Parkinson. Look at the determination on the face of the young Brit as she hunts down her first ever victory as a professional rider. And looking at this one, if she can hang on to the finish, this will be a huge performance for them. Team Virtu now coming up.
Abby May is riding really, really well, getting herself nice and aero there. Just a quick look down at her power meter, her computer telling her how far she's got to go, perhaps telling her a heart rate or a power output. But ultimately, you know, this is absolutely everything. She needs to forget about the other stages of this race. This is all about this one day for her right now.
In this position, Joe, I know you've been on this position before, when you're off the front, each time you look back, you just lose those fractions of a second, don't you? You've got to almost just focus, just keep looking ahead, but always there's that temptation to just glance back and see where the peloton are.
There's always that temptation, and you have to sort of use that and know that they're hunting you down, but really, really go into time trial mode. And there's been times when I've been away on my own and I've had a bunch almost catch me, like literally be within meters behind me, but there's been a lull in the peloton and I've kept going and I've stayed away. So absolutely never give up either. And if you do look around and see that they're getting quite close, until they've actually made that junction, then keep going.
Indeed, anything can happen. Multiple teams now coming up to run. Here come Movistar in those light blue jerseys. Movistar team, strong sprinters here. Roxane Fournier, she's got good backup of the likes of Jasinska, but it's back up to the front. It's all about the drop cycling rider, Abby May Parkinson. Another glance back just to see where that peloton are behind. It's still Chantal Black in that Dutch national champions jersey, keeping that tempo at the front. At the moment, you can just see each time we go back to the front of the peloton, it's swinging back between each team. But it's Bull Dolmans that have got the front here. Yolian Dora is their sprinter. Team Sunweb for Corinne Rivera, trying to bring her up. Can't discount Marianne Vos in these sprints either.
Absolutely, you can never discount Vos on any finish. She's obviously, you know, an absolute legend of the sport. really, really strong all-rounder, and she loves the Women's Tour, previous winner of this in its first ever edition, so of course you can never discount her, and of course a brilliant performance at Tour de Yorkshire earlier this year as well for her.
Chloe Hosking in the yellow, getting brought up. Look at this though, it's getting close. The peloton are almost on her now. It looks like it's going to be heartbreak today for Abby May Parkinson, but you take your chance. She put herself out there over 20 kilometers to go. The only breakaway that's really stuck today, 2 kilometers to go. It doesn't get more heartbreaking than this.
I know, and she's still going for it, and the bunch are right there, but inside the final 2K, she really has lit up this race today. You know, she really has sparked this big attack, and it's had everyone watching, everyone believing her, everyone willing her on, and of course it's so great to see a British rider being a winner in a race like this, but now she just gets caught by this peloton. Heartbreak for her, but all to play for the stage win for all the sprinters now.
The catch is made, but what a ride by Abby May Parkinson in the centre there. Lisa Brennauer in that red and blue jersey of WNT Rota. The German rider, again, another former general classification rider. Look at this little battle going on at the bottom of your screen. It's the LA Cipollini rider just trying to find their way on to the wheel now. The pressure, though, is on here. Bull Dolmans on the left of your picture there. Those national champions jerseys of Christine Majerus and Chantel Black. Again, here comes Sunweb on the left, looking for that Stars and Stripes jersey of Corin Rivera.
Bowles Dolman's getting themselves very organised very early on here. They've got a nice string of about 4 or 5 riders in a row there. So they could be sprinting for Amelita Dixon, or they could be working for Jolene Dore. They have got 2 very strong sprinters in their team this week.
Canyon SRAM, we're seeing them up towards the front as well. Hannah Barnes, great sprinter, 1 kilometre to go. You've got Bull Dolmans on the left of your picture, Sunweb on the right, WNT trying to get on the action. Here come Team Movistar. Roxanne Fournier is well up towards the front. Now the pressure, it's handed back to Christine Majerus as they take this final corner and head up towards the finish.
She took that line there beautifully through that corner. You can see the gap just opening up behind her. Christine Majerus, of course, a supremely skillful rider here to be doing the lead out.
Majerus, Peters, again, great sprinter. Jolien Dura right on the wheel. Chloe Hosking, through 500 to go, just over that little bridge. We're seeing Sarah Roy also up towards the front. There's Brennauer just at the bottom of your picture, just in front of Roxanne Fournier there. Majerus, job done for her now. Amy Peters, 300 meters to go. Dura right on the wheel. Hosking battling to stay with them. Amy Peters leading this one out. Look at Mariana Vos though for CCCC. And now Jolien Dura has a glance back, looks to see where Mariana Vos is. Peters swings off. Dura now makes a move. Chloe Hosking is still there, but Jolien Dura, she won the first stage last year. Is she going to take it again? Yes, she is. Jolien Dura takes it. Amy Peters, her teammate, hangs on for second, and it looks like Lisa Brennauer managed to get herself up there in third.
Wow, what a brilliant sprint there. Jolene Dore comes off the wheel of Amy Peters and draws out a huge gap. You can see Vos can't hold her wheel at all. Draws out 3 or 4 bike lengths there and can just ease up as she comes to that finish line and realise and have a nice little celebration there, realise she's got that victory.
And there you have it, the rider of the day, Abby May Parkinson, congratulated by her teammates Anna Christian and Hannah Payton. It's a 1-2 for Bull Dolmans in Stowmarket, with Jolien Dura taking the win from teammate Amy Peters, Lisa Brennauer in third ahead of Roxanne Fournier and Mariana Vos. Jolien Dura wins the first stage of the Women's Tour for the 2nd year running. In 2018, she was first across the line in Southwold. And she was back on the podium as the leader in the Breast Cancer Care Points competition. First wearer of the Iceberg Sprints jersey is Corin Rivera.
It's a step in the right direction for sure. And last year we invested early and heavy into these intermediate sprints, and sometimes it can make a difference in the end. So yeah, the girls are really great in the lead out, and we got it down really well. And then and the final wasn't the best organization, but it was always really hectic and a little dangerous. But yeah, we made it through safely, and I at least have the sprint jersey.
Christine Majerus leads the Skoda Queen of the Mountains competition. And taking the green jersey as leader of the OVO Energy Women's Tour is Jolien Dura. Confirmation of the general classification after stage 1. Yolyn Dura has a 4-second advantage over Amy Peters, with Lisa Brennauer 6 seconds back in third. Sheila Gutierrez Ruiz is fourth at 7 seconds. Just behind her are former Tour winners Mariana Vos and Corinne Rivera.
Well, yet again, another perfect start to the Women's Tour for you. Talk us through that sprint, because you had a very healthy lead by the end.
Yeah, it was pretty hectic going into the last corner because it was a bit of a downhill. But the team brought me in perfect position, and basically I just had to follow. So I actually had the easy job, and Amy Peters, she did the final lead out, and she put me in the first position with 150 meters to go, and she got second herself. So yeah, we're really happy, and it proves that we're really a strong team here.
Yeah, it certainly does. And looking on to tomorrow's stage, what do you make of it? Because it's quite unique for the Women's Tour.
Yeah, also for us, tomorrow is going to be special. It's a short lap, 2K, I think. We're going to do 25 laps, so it's good for the spectators, and I hope we can make a good race and with a good winner in the end.
Yolyn, thank you so much. Once again, huge congratulations. That's all from us here in Stowmarket, but join us tomorrow at 8 for all the action from stage 2 as we head to the Kent Cycling Park. We'll see you then.
OVO Energy, proud sponsors of the Women's Tour.